Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Leslie P. Barkin, and I am one of the reporters assigned to discuss the instructional design model. Particularly, I will be sharing with you this ADDIE model. No, but first, we're going to have a short overview about the topic in the module 3, which is the e-learning design and development, because this instructional design model, particularly this ADDIE model, is one of the subtopics for this module 3. No? E-learning design and development are crucial for creating effective digital experiences. So as technology advances and the demand for flexible education grows, understanding this concept, e-learning design and development, is very essential for us educators, as well as those instructional designers who aim to deliver an engaging and impactful learning to the students. So here are the learning objectives for this lesson. We're going to understand the short overview or introduction on the e-learning design and development. We're going to describe the key features and processes of each phase of the ADDIE model using a short video presentation. And lastly, we're going to reflect on how the ADDIE model can be integrated into real classroom or training settings to improve technology, teaching and learning outcomes. Now, what is this e-learning design and development? So this is a process of structuring educational content to be delivered online in an engaging and effective way. This process requires understanding the learner's need, defining clear objectives, and creating an engaging and accessible content. The main goal of the e-learning design is to make e-learning as intuitive and engaging as possible. Now, here are the key components of the e-learning design. We have the learning objective. Establishing this clear learning objective guides the creation of course content and the assessments, no? Ensuring that all elements contribute to the specific educational goals. And the content structure, by organizing the content logically and engagingly, is very crucial for effective e-learning. This will include breaking down of complex topics into multimedia, ensuring best learning experiences to the learners. Next one is the interactivity. These include interactive elements such as quizzes, simulation, and games, which makes learning more fun. And the last one is the accessibility and the usability. E-learning content must be accessible to all. Thus, it should be user-friendly, no, and compatible to the various devices to ensure seamless experiences because it's online. Okay, now what's this e-learning development? It is where the vision of e-learning design is realized not through careful execution and technological integration. A key focus of development is ensuring that each component of the course supports the learning goals, providing a rich and interactive experience. Thus, this e-learning development, no, in short, brings the e-learning design to life by integrating multimedia elements, interactive features, and the assessment into a cohesive course. So therefore, this e-learning design and development is a critical process in creating online educational programs that are not only informative, but also engaging and effective. So it involves systematic approach to crafting digital learning experiences that cater the needs of the diverse learner. So in other words, e-learning design and development is a process of creating and engaging and effective online learning experiences using this design principles and technological tools, no, to craft digital content. So it's very, it is not just convenient alternative, it is also a powerful way to make learning personal, flexible, and impactful to the learners. Now, there is what we call instructional design for e-learning. This instructional design is the systematic process of creating and delivering learning materials and experiences to learners. At the core of the instructional design process is what we call the learning objectives. Now, why does instructional design matter in e-learning? Of course, for the reason that it helps understand the learners. Good instructional design begins by understanding that learners are a diverse group, no, with a variety of needs and characteristics. That is why the first step for instructional design process is to analyze the learners in terms of their background knowledge, demographics, time availability of the course, likely study environment, and more. Okay, the next reason it makes e-learning more engaging. Since instructional designers take the time to get to know their learners first, once they know their learners, they begin with developing on e-learning content. They're able to more easily identify the learning activities that are more relevant and appealing to the learners, no, based on their analysis and background. Instructional designer can now then select the most relevant tools and strategies that best suit the learner's need in order to create a more interactive learning experience. Okay, the next reason is it helps learners retain knowledge. So nowadays, it's incredibly easy to find new information. Yes, it's true. Everything is quick Google search away, but there's a difference between accessing new information and understanding it in a way that effectively helps you learn something new and apply it on the job. So this e-learning content that is created by following the principles of good instructional design helps learners acquire and retain knowledge more efficiently according to the studies, no? Okay, the last one is it encourages the learners to take action. Okay, good instructional design will make the overall e-learning experience more inspiring for the learners, no? Motivating them to put their knowledge into practice and achieve more than they initially expected. So, okay, so the first instructional design that is assigned to me, which will be sharing, which will I will be sharing with you through video presentation, is this ADDIE model. So I have here a short video presentation about the steps or the characteristics, features of this ADDIE model.
How do you design an effective and engaging training program from scratch? This is one of the many questions I asked myself back in 2011 when I first became a trainer. Hello and welcome to the ADDIE Academy. My name is Irina, and today I'll walk you through ADDIE, the 5 steps you need to take to design an effective learning experience, be that an online course, a training workshop, or a webinar. And to make sure that you can use ADDIE back on the job immediately, which is what we're all about here at the Academy, I'll share with you a nifty checklist completely for free, so stay tuned. First things first, what is ADDIE? ADDIE is an acronym that stands for the 5 steps you take to create a training course: analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Think of it as your step-by-step guide to crafting learning experiences that not only engage but truly resonate with your audience. Now, I do want to point out that technically, ADDIE is not an inherently learning framework. It's more akin to a project management model. That is, if you follow these steps, you will get a certain result. So you can use ADDIE to build a website, to create an ad, to record a YouTube video, and so on. But the reason ADDIE has become so popular in the L&D circles is that, in theory, if you follow each step and you do it well, the end result will be an effective learning experience. Let's break down each step and discover how ADDIE can turn your training vision into a reality. The first step is analysis. I've said it before and I will say it again. It doesn't matter if you're creating an online course, a webinar, or a classroom training. You always need to start with analysis. You need to understand who your target audience is, what their pain points are, and what resources they need. Usually at this stage, you can also tell what is the most appropriate learning experience. It could be training or an online course or a conversation with a coach or a mentor. Or it could even be just a job aid or an article. But for the purposes of this video, let's assume that the right solution is indeed a classroom face-to-face live training session. And let's explore this with an example. During your annual learning needs analysis, you discover that several people lack some basic problem-solving skills. The people have indicated that they would like to attend a training, and you happen to agree. Our analysis should tell us more about the learners. In this case, people are mainly project managers who split their time between collecting requirements from clients and then translating them to the software development teams. They're tech savvy and like to try new things. And that means we are ready for step 2, the design stage. Here, you need to think about the best activities and training methods that you can use based on what you discovered in the previous stage. For example, if the majority of your learners like to try things out in practice, you need to include plenty of opportunities for them to do this, like role plays and simulations. If your learners are super busy, then you need to consider how can you cut the training time but still make it effective. Going back to our example, the design I would recommend is to start the group off with a real-life problem that they would need to solve and then present them with several problem-solving techniques. Then they will have an opportunity to test them out, and we would wrap it up with a discussion on what worked and what didn't. One tip for the design stage is to gather as much feedback as you can. What I personally like to do is to send out a preliminary session plan to my stakeholders and ask them to tell me what works for them and what really doesn't. In the example that I've been looking at, I would share it with either a few of the attendees or their managers and get their feedback on the relevancy of the problem and the applicability of the techniques. I usually go back and forth a few times just to make sure that everyone is happy with the design. Once you have the design that everyone is happy with, you can move on to the third stage, developing your content. This is where you create any training materials and resources. For online courses, this is where you would run a pilot or a test version of your course and share it with a small group of learners to get their feedback. However, in our example, I would prepare any handouts, learning presentations, workbooks, as well as feedback surveys. As soon as that's done, you can proceed to the fourth stage, implementation. For a traditional classroom, that means delivering the session. For online courses, this means launching it on the learning management system. But we are not done just yet. The final stage is evaluation. This is where you assess the quality of the training, the resources, and how well the learning objectives have been met. This is a whole topic on its own, so I will leave it for another video. But in our example, this is where I share the feedback survey and ask people to rate how satisfied they were. But satisfaction from training alone is what we call a vanity metric. It doesn't actually tell you if anything substantial changed as a result of the learning experience, which is why I probably check back with the learners sometime after the training to evaluate how their performance has changed as a result of the training. Now, if you want to learn more about evaluating learning experiences, we have a dedicated playlist, which you can check out in the description down below. So how do you design an effective and engaging training program from scratch? Well, you analyze the needs, you design a plan, you develop any materials, you implement the event, and evaluate its success. It might sound easy in theory, but there's a lot going on in each step. And to help you make sense of it, I'm sharing my very own ADDIE checklist that I use for almost any learning experience that I plan. You can download it at the link in the description. Did you enjoy this video? Consider subscribing so we can reach more L&D professionals. And if you want to learn more about how do you design?
So that was ADDIE all about, no, the steps for the ADDIE. So I hope you have learned from the video. So it was really not my first time encountering this ADDIE model. No, I have encountered ADDIE model during the seminar I have way back on 2023, which was a DOST funded na seminar, and unfortunately I wasn't able to make one because I was not really because due to some reasons that it was so hectic schedule. But as I have encountered it again, so I just realized that it was uh, the process of breaking down the model into five distinct phases seems rigid. And then just working on the analysis phase, no, I realized how valuable it was to clearly define the problem and understanding the learner's need. So, uh, in the design phase, it was particularly challenging because you have to balance the creativity and the practicality. You'll be struggled with deciding which instructional strategies would best engage the learners while aligning the learning objectives. No, kay you want to make it more engaging, and so that students would be um, actively participating in the program or in the model you have created, no, or in the instruction, I mean the instructional design you created. The experience with ADDIE model has not only honed my instructional design skills, but also change my mindset now. Now I see challenges as opportunities for growth and value the importance of structure and feedback in creating effective learning experience. So moving forward in the future, I am excited to share this ADDIE model with my coworkers, no, especially in senior high school, because this is really helpful to um, in creating a design, a learning instructional design for our students who are struggling with, especially with different learning areas. So I I might suggest them to include this in our LAC sessions, no, because ADDIE model really helps because uh, help us educators in creating a learning environment, a best learning experience to the students. Uh, I think that would be all, and that is all about ADDIE model. Okay, uh, I hope you understand my presentation, and that would be all. Thank you.